Hi, thanks for watching the video. I want to talk today about standing out and what does it take in order to stand out on the internet and what does it take in order to stand out with your customers. To relate a little story back from my own personal experiences. Back in the early 90s when I was going to Arizona State University, I started working, to pay some bills like everybody else. I was eating ramen noodles and kind of got sick of it. So I started working as in a Bennigan's actually. And what I did is I noticed that some of the other people down the street that worked in a nicer restaurant were coming in and they had a lot more money to spend on drinks than I did. So after a while, I talked to one of them and said, "What does it take in order to move up in this industry?" I learned, went out and learned my wines, learned my food, and then soon got into that position. Was making a lot more money. And then from there, in Phoenix, it's a big city, so we had a lot of opportunity to move ahead. And then I moved to the cream of the crop, the very upper echelon. I mean, the people that were making nearly six figures being a waiter. The $100 plate sort of a crowd. Really in this area, we don't have much around here like that, except for maybe Kohler. And figure out what we got into there. And the way that I did this, and this is back where it was not very easy to do this, is I shrunk my resume down to the size of a wine label, and I plastered it onto a bottle of wine, and I sent it off to the hiring managers at it's the very cream of the top of the establishment in Phoenix at the time. And I got hired at one of them. I shouldn't have. I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the pedigree, but I got hired. And even years later, when I was working at another, finishing up with school and working in another establishment, and we had sort of a benefit that we were doing. I was in the back office of another restaurant that I went to, and I saw my wine bottle. This is 3 years later. I saw my wine bottle sitting at the desk of one of the hiring managers, and I asked him about it, and he said, "Yeah, this is the greatest thing. He said, this has been on my desk and I use it as an example of what it takes." And I asked him, "Why the hell didn't you call me then?" It was really nice to see. The thing is that it was a little bit more difficult to shrink things down and to paste it and send them off. Today we have so many more availabilities to stand out. I know there's a lot of clutter. I know to get on Facebook and stuff there's a lot of clutter. But to utilize search engine optimization, to get on social media, to do things, running contests, whatever it takes, and even just kind of taking a step back and looking at your whole customer experience and what does that look like? Walk through the front doors of your business. Are there cigarette butts on the front door? Is it dirty? Are you having paint missing? What's the messaging as you walk in versus walking out? Really take a fresh look at different things and really stand out. I work with one aspect of it, and that's kind of the online visibility of the different property managements that we handle. But and this is a cornerstone piece of what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm about business. I'm kind of a business geek here in this. I want people to make money. I want people to do well. And in order to do that, what we need to do is really push for doing everything right and hitting up the customer experience and really making a go at it and making sure that they get our best foot forward and that they're seeing everything that we can do in order to connect with them, because as in today's economy, everything is about connection, everything is about touches, everything is about that. So the better you can do at that, the more it is. So what can you do to stand out today, and what can you do to reach somebody? Bear in mind, even like updating your social media just a once a day, you're on par at that point then with some of the major brands out there in the United States and the world, really. So it doesn't take much in order to really compete, but it does take something. So I hope this was informative and sparked a little interest and a thought process of what you can do in order to really take it to the next level.